it's always good in limited time when we can double dip on dipshits. It's a double dipshit. It's Mark Levin and Bongholio. Just, I guess this is like fantasy football. If you get the two dumbest motherfuckers in the world slowly working their way down to the battle of the brainless. Here's this ad.
This is a full 3 months.
And of course,
of
they're
food
selling
without
fucking
needing
survival
any refrigeration
food.
or special storage.
Shut up. All right, and then this is relatively short, so we'll get through this hopefully fairly easy. But this is on Unfiltered. This is Bongholio's show, who is, of course, looking for a teepee for his bunghole. And for those of you that don't know, Dan Bongino blocked me on Twitter. And I don't know if Mark Levin has. I hope he will. How they showed 2,000 meals at Mar-a-Lago, so many people were there, documents were there. Yeah, at the same time, Nancy.
Joe Biden calling out MAGA Republicans as semi-fascist.
Semi-fascist. I would knock the semi part off, depending on
extremists, while the radical left falls right in line to attack conservatives. Joining us now is the great one, believe
that hashtag TM.
He's earned that title.
Mark
Levin. Mark, you heard my monologue there about fascism. Who were the real fascists? I mean, we want to give people back their money. Let them pick where their kids go to school, get the government.
Pick where your kids go to school. You mean undermine public education? And so that there's no funding. And I mean, I don't know how the plan is to educate like the poor or underclass in this country ever without it being, all right, never mind. We'll get to that later. I mean, it's just, we could chase all these kind of like standard conservative boondoggles all we want, but
back with regulations, that doesn't sound like fascism.
Yeah, the kind of regulations you guys want removed is why China is knocking down entire apartment blocks because they're fucking unlivable. You know what keeps lead out of your fucking drinking water? Regulations, dummy.
Me.
No, and by the way, thanks for having me on your great show here, Dan. Oh, you know what it sounds like to me that's going on in this?
Levin's used to just being set off to talk and ignoring the host. Hopefully he won't think that Bongholio has to take a shit, because that's his job on Hannity.
Country. It's called the book Animal Farm. Remember that book? You probably read it when you were a teenager.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I totally read. Yeah, I read that. Yeah. I remember reading that. Yeah. My dad used to read it to me before I went to sleep. We had one of those pull strings on the book where it would go, yeah, that.
And it was a takeoff on the old Soviet Union. And so the livestock, they're looking...
As opposed to the new Soviet Union?
...in the window, and they see the human beings living it up, eating wonderfully, overweight, eating some of their colleagues, as a matter of fact.
Colleagues.
And they decide that's enough of it. So we workers are going to rise up and overthrow them. The workers being the animals.
Thanks. This is for the folks that I can't believe anybody who watches Bongholio hasn't read Animal Farm. But thank God Professor Levin is here to catch us up.
So in the end, that's exactly what they do, and they're forming their society. And at the end, of course, the animals are looking in the window, and who's sitting in there in the place of the humans are the pigs. And the pigs are doing exactly the same things that the humans did.
And this is an analogy about Mar-a-Lago, I think, the omelet bar at Mar-a-Lago. Okay.
Well, not to be crass, that's the Democrat Party. They're the pigs.
I see. All right. Well, that's good. Interesting, because I didn't know that the pigs actually wanted all the other animals to have health care and clean drinking water and safe roads and bridges and fucking internet way out there in the chicken coop.
Sitting there at the table, living it up while the rest of the country suffers. And I was thinking about this earlier today, Dan.
Yeah, not deeply, but thinking about it. It crossed my mind.
And how distant we are from our founding.
Yes, it's true. It's been a long time since any of us have used flint and steel to start a fire. and had to find someone to hand make us a pair of bifocals.
And it's all purposeful.
Yes, it is purposeful. It's that fucking clock. It keeps ticking forward. Why won't time stop when things are simple? When great examples of male power could achieve heroic king-like status in simpler times, where King Levin could rise up and everyone would fear his ironclad hand or whatever.
We have elections every 2 years, and then every 4 years, and every 6 years, depending.
Well, that would be every 2 years. Sorry. That's why you say every 2 years. Because that would also mean in 4 years and 6 years. Also 8, 10, 12. That's... Sorry. I'm just aggravated because this is supposed to be deep thought.
Depending on what institution is up for election.
Yeah, sure. A good point. Yeah. We have those elections. We just have different... All right, never mind.
But it's what happens between those elections that makes a huge difference in our country.
Yeah, and
for the...
You mean life?
Democrat Party and the Marxist left, one...
By the way, that's him dropping his book, We're Not the Marxist Left, Go Fuck Yourself. Unless he means like Marxist as in Mark Levinist.
Has nothing to do with the other. They are committed either through the bureaucracy, the courts, or elections.
To rule of law and equal protection under said law?
Or despite elections.
Yes, because the law should apply even if some asshole like Trump gets elected.
To advance their ideology and their agenda.
Unlike the Republicans who spent the last 2 decades making trigger laws around abortion for the day they could set the Supreme Court up to undermine it. For fuck's sake, man.
It was never on the line, 87,000 IRS agents. Nobody ran on that. Nobody talked about that.
Well, no, but they talked about billion-dollar corporations finally paying some income taxes. And when they would do that, it would require a lot more IRS agents to actually go after companies that fucking big, especially multinationals.
Or the destruction of the combustion engine and the gasoline automobile that's being pushed right now.
Excuse me?
The courts or elections, or despite elections, to advance their ideology and their agenda. It was never on the line, 87,000 IRS agents. Nobody ran on that. Nobody talked about that. Or the destruction of the combustion engine and the gasoline automobile that's being pushed right now.
The destruction of it? You mean to advance past it? Again, I don't know how many times I have to tell these motherfuckers, but these are the people who are like bootstrap freedom fighting, good old American patriots, salt of the earth. Your independence is the most important thing in the entire world. Meanwhile, you want to be on the fucking hook for a fuel source you have no capacity to refine and use. Even somebody who could strike fucking oil on their property will not have a refining system like a fucking still during Prohibition to turn oil into fucking gas that won't ultimately destroy their entire engine in their modern car. What you could do, though, you could have geothermal energy on your property. You could have a windmill on your property. You could have solar panels on your property and require no outside energy to charge your fucking car. That would be independence. And again, these assholes are, to me, this sounds like somebody arguing against these people who want to stop us from the freedom of hand cranking our fucking car, and now they want to go to some goddamn key.
Nobody ran on that.
Yes, they did. Everybody in the Democratic Party ran on advancing our environmental standards. And one of the things we've been dealing with majorly since the 70s is the pollution that comes from the tailpipe of a fucking car. Like, that's not new.
Even when it comes to the destruction of energy independence, Biden didn't.
We haven't destroyed our energy independence, and one of the ways we maintain it is when commuter cars no longer need fucking gasoline. It's a resource that the world makes, and we're in a market that competes with the rest of the world. And people like Russia and China and Saudi Arabia and all these other countries are competing and raising and lowering the price, and that affects our fucking economy. Imagine if it never had to again. Imagine if we had plenty of oil and gas just for our industry, and then all the commuter cars in the country ran on electric because we had a fucking smart grid, and you could pull your own energy if you wanted to, or even store energy that you get from the regular grid in a home battery, and then put it in your car and never have to rely on fucking charging up ever again.
Put it that way. Out of one side of his mouth, he talked about, we've got to get rid of gas cars and so forth. And then on the other side of his mouth said he'd never do that when he was campaigning in Western Pennsylvania. And so
it's just, Lord, why must you test my patience like this? Western Pennsylvania, they're not talking about gas for cars. They're talking about natural gas, fracking specifically for natural gas. That was the new industry in Pennsylvania. Not all gas is fucking car gas, you fucking dipshit. Oh, God, this is so stupid.
So I've concluded something and most people know, which is in order to...
Oh, boy, here comes the conclusion. All right, all right, I'm excited. He's going to wrap this all up. Prep yourself. Maybe get a piece of paper and a pencil. He's going to refine this fucking point. Here it comes.
To be a Democrat, you have to be a radical.
Oh, all right. So an infrastructure bill is a radical concept. Medicare and Medicaid being able to negotiate prices as a large buyer is radical. What am I radical about?
And in order to be a radical, you have to lie through your teeth.
Oh, okay, good. All right. Well, I didn't realize that was... So the radical right, what you're saying is radical right-wing speakers are lying through their teeth. Gotcha. Okay.
All the time.
All the time. That must be exhausting. Can't you just open your... Do you always have to go like... Because people are going to know eventually that you're fucking lying. This is a dead giveaway. Can you speak? Never mind.
Because it's not the people you're working for, it's the people you're working on.
Look out.
Through propaganda and demagoguery and all the rest of it.
I don't know what that meant. I honestly... These are just gibberish sentences stacked together to be impressive. And I think Bongholio has left to go take a shit. That's my guess.
What's going on right now?
If you have diarrhea, call Mark Levin onto your show. There's a Post-it note that says that in the dressing room at Fox News.
Now, we have a recession.
And apparently there's a bout of food poisoning going around the entire studio.
Joe Biden says we're not in a recession. Inflation...
Technically, we're not.
...has grown.
Yes, supply and demand related inflation has grown up. It is not monetary inflation.
He says inflation is zero.
No, in July it was zero year over year.
We have pronouns instead of real names. Why?
Because you can't remember anybody's name at work, so you go, "Hey, who's that? Hey, guy."
To dehumanize us.
Humans don't have pronouns? All right, never mind. Again, does anybody know where the fuck he's going with this? It's just a list of right-wing grievance points.
So this semi-fascism thing is a tool out of the old book of every fascist and Marxist.
So calling someone a fascist is a tool of fascists. Okay. So is calling someone a semi-fascist tool? Or are you a semi-fascist tool who's using accusations of fascism to say that people are fascist for making this? I'm starting to lose consciousness. I'm starting to drift. All right.
Regime that's ever existed. That is, to paint your enemies in a certain way, to repeat it over and over and over again until...
Oh, do you mean like call them Marxists all the time, even when they're fucking not? To say that like regular order democratic taxation is somehow socialism? You mean like bullshit like that? You mean like Tiller the baby killer and shit like that? Like because you don't think a 10-year-old girl should be forced to carry a rapist baby to term?
it becomes true. You've now dehumanized them.
I see. So what happened is Biden called these assholes fascists for so long, and I'm at like, what, a week and a half, that they had no choice. They had to become fascists. It became true.
So their opinion doesn't matter. Their speech doesn't matter. They're the enemy of the state.
What the fuck? That's what Trump says all the time. What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, he's spelling out the Republican playbook. Asshole, you sound like you're at a Trump rally speech, like coffee clatch to try and develop the next one.
They are the enemy of progress.
Or the enemy of progress. Oy.
So
you mean the party of no? You mean like instead of coming up with actual plans to solve stuff, they just vote against shit? Or
I've been saying lately
a bunch of drivel
that we lived in the United States of the Democrat Party.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
More than the United States of America.
Oh, I see. I'm glad you made that. I was worried. I was like, but yeah, aren't we? Isn't there already a, fuck me.
Because the Democrat Party, quite frankly,
Democratic,
like communist parties all over the world, and
sorry. I got news for you, asshole. No matter how many times you call us communists, we ain't. We're not going to be communists. It just isn't how it works. Oh, fuck, man.
They are a progeny of it, whether they like it or not, whether they admit it or not.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, if I call you a name, you are that thing, whether or not you will admit it or you even do any of the things that would actually make you that thing. I have called you that, and therefore you are that. And anybody who engages in that kind of name-calling behavior is clearly whatever they are calling that person. Fucking hell. How does he not smell almonds?
Most of them know it. And
I'm sorry. This is just stupid.
I'm not talking about the people out there. I'm talking about Washington and the apparatchiks.
The apparatchiks? That's a mountain range in Virginia, I think.
The party comes first. The party comes first in China. The party comes first in Iran. The party comes first in Cuba. And
in the Geo-fucking-P? So you're saying that because the Democratic Party exists and Democrats are a part of that, and we vote through that function, and the Republican Party has basically become a monarchical party that is the fiefdom of Trump. That's now the difference. So because we believe in one person, one vote, and for the record, anybody, I mean, we have some trolls here today. Very glad to have you with us. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be spreading this fast through the algorithm. Very exciting. Yeah, party first, hangover comes later. That's right. Yeah, those organized lockstep Democrats. Exactly. Oh, God.
In Venezuela, because the party is the country.
All right. So he states we're the United States of the Democratic Party because Democrats have gotten elected to the House, the Senate, and the Congress, and they control those things. Republicans have done that in the past. Were we the United States of the Republican Party when that shit happened? No.
The party is the government, not for Republicans, you know.
Oh, and by the way, Charlotte, thank you so much. You're very, very welcome. Glad I can make you laugh. James, thank you for double dipping. That means a lot. And thanks for being a member as well. I just wanted to touch on those. Jim, thank you for the super chat as well. Please cover Al Franken. Sorry, there was it scrolled by just at that last second. Destroying a GOP lapdog. Okay, I will. I'll have to find that clip because I haven't watched it, but I'll have to find it and I'll do it tomorrow if that's okay. All right.
We talk about
unless it was on. I'll look it up.
Smaller government, as you say, the Constitution, checks and balances, and that.
Yes. Mark Levin wants a government so small in the United States that Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin can drown it in a bathtub.
That's why
Thank
when
you,
they
Paul
speak
Thanos.
honestly, they're at war with anyone who disagrees with them, whether it's the courts. It's why they
Look how upset Bongholio is. It's just disgusting. So I'm just coming back to this.
seek to destroy Donald Trump in their every waking moment.
That's the out. That was the button on that fucking clip. That we yes, trolling ain't easy. It ain't. For the record, the reason they call Mark Levin the great one at Fox News is because he is great at filling time. You know those gibberish rants that Glenn Beck does just to get to break, where he just kind of winds up with sort of grandiose yet idiotic language and then goes, but this will be the end if we don't do something different. And he goes like that and they go right to commercial. Same shit. Just Levin is kind of the have blather will travel version. Glenn Beck does it on his own show. Levin is just like a higher, he's like a higher gibberish gunslinger. He just comes in and puts your whole conversation down. It's like it's like a blather posse. Yeah. Well, listen, think over what we just heard. And then ask yourself, did we actually hear anything? Right? What did he say that was in all that talk? Mark Levin, never has so much been said about so little in such a short period of time.